Welcome back to Houston Life. It's time now for our H-Town Sit Down, and let's meet today's guest. Her 28 years on KPRC 2 News turned her into an iconic figure of local television. Dominique Sachse is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and YouTube star, a platform where almost 2 million subscribers follow her tips on all things fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. And now she's joining us for our H-Town Sit Down as a published author ahead of the release of her new book, Life Makeover: Embrace the Bold, Beautiful, and Blessed You. And a big welcome to Dominique, who is here today for our H-Town Sit Down.
Hey, you.
Hello,
Hi. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Oh, my gosh. Thanks for having me.
You bet, girlfriend.
Thanks.
Congratulations on everything.
Wow. It's been a whirlwind. Yes.
Can you believe, I mean, it was October when you left,
Yes.
which, you know, doesn't seem like that long ago, but so much has happened.
That's like 2 hairstyles ago.
Girl, I was just going to say the hairstyles. Do people still stop you and want to talk about the hairstyles?
They do, but I think people have stopped asking if I wear a wig because they just know that changes are coming. But yeah, I still hear about that.
And you know, we're going to talk about all things book related coming up a little bit later. So we want to take this time just to kind of catch up with you. You know, when you left television.
Yeah. I'm going to get comfortable.
Get comfy, girl. I mean, you know, the YouTube channel you started in 2014.
Yes.
I mean, you have close to 1.8 million followers. I mean, fathom that.
No, I can't. Honestly, I can't. When I started, I just thought, what a great opportunity to help people who would write in and ask us just by being on the news.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do that makeup look, or where'd you get that blouse, or how do you do this? And I thought this would be just such a cool little database to explain things to people so that I'm not having to write out in an email.
Everything.
Well, first you take this color eyeshadow and you blend it like that, and then you take this eyeliner. And what started is just this little sort of organic way to show people how to do things mushroomed and became so much bigger and more impactful than I ever thought it would.
You know, you have so much more to offer than just makeup and hair and beauty. You are a depthful woman, and I think that's why so many people you know, feel that attraction to you, not only on the news, but in a personal life. And you're very honest about everything that's going on. And so not only, I mean, you had all these things happen at once. You decided to retire after nearly 30 years. You do that, and then you make a public statement on social media about what's happening in your personal life. And if we can go there right now, I mean, you're going through a divorce. And that is obviously traumatic.
Brutal. It's brutal. And it's, you know, there was so much happening at once, and you can't plan for these things. Life just evolves, and you know, it's not our timing, it's God's timing. I've always said that, and I've always believed that, you know, he doesn't give you what you can't handle. So apparently I could handle a lot at once because it's like someone grabbed the rug and went whew, you know, and it was a huge change, but a change that needed to happen in a lot of areas in my life. You know, when seeds are planted and there's a certain calling and there's something speaking to you, and you can suppress it and you can push it and make it lie dormant for a while, but then it gets to a point where if there's not change in certain areas, or you're not getting the kind of fulfillment from doing something that used to fulfill you, it's time to pivot. And that's a word that I like to use because it really is. It's a pivot, and we're looking at something new and we're choosing to go in a new direction.
I thought it was really interesting because, you know, when we're here at the news, you know, your personal life is public.
Sure.
And when you leave here, you could have chosen not to talk about that. But why did you do that?
Because, you know, I shoot my videos from my house, and so people are now noticing a change of scenery.
Yeah.
They're noticing that people who used to be in videos suddenly aren't there. You can't hide. And when you've been transparent up to a point and you've been open and vulnerable, you can't just shut that down. And so it's not like a kill switch, and you've got to be honest. The viewer expects that honesty and integrity. And then also, when I'm coming out with a book about living your most authentic, vulnerable life, I can't sit there and pretend like these things aren't happening to me. And if anything, I think it opened the door to show people that I'm no different from you.
Yeah.
I go through life changes, life challenges. My life is not perfect. Sometimes you have to make changes. Sometimes you have to honor that stirring within. And you know what? Instead of me trying to hide that, let's go through it together. Let's explore this together. You share with me what's worked for you. Let me share with you what I'm discovering and working for me. And it becomes this kind of simpatico thing, which is what the whole platform was built on in the first place.
Right, and I think it's just so great during that process, and you know, I'm sure it's helped you in the process.
It's been cathartic for me, and really, Courtney, I mean, I can't say enough about, and I call them the community, because that's what it feels like. It feels like this amazing community of women, and I like to say that we're in our prime, you know, because this is such a wonderful time in our lives when you're 40 plus. I'm now 54, but I think that you achieve wisdom at this age. You achieve clarity. You discover your voice. You decide what you want and what you don't want anymore, and you're learning how to articulate that. You decide that you want to feel good, that you still have half of your life left in you, and you want to go through it beautifully.
And don't waste it.
And don't waste it. So what are you going to do now to make those changes so that you live the next half of your life feeling great about who you are?
Oh, I love it. I can go to Dominique Church every day. I could. Okay, we're going to talk more about the book because we're still in pre-sales, but the big launch is tomorrow.
Yes.
We've got more on that coming up, but we've got a couple questions. Lauren Kelly is standing by with our question of the day. Hi, Lauren.
Hey, you know what? Next time I get into it, Dominique and Courtney, I'm going to remember there are just as many I have just as many hours in the day as Dominique Sachse, okay? I will just remember that from now on. But we want to hear from you guys. What questions do you have for Dominique? And we've already got some great comments coming in. Let's start with Nancy. Nancy writes in, what does she recommend to thicken hair besides biotin? That's a great question.
That is a great question. And that's something a lot of women have asked me about. That's an area I've not dabbled in. I just go shorter and shorter because it makes it look thicker.
You have great hair, though.
Yes.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing. You're kind of say that, but I really don't. I have fine hair, and I have really kinky, curly, frizzy hair. So on days like today here in Houston, it's my worst nightmare, which is why I keep going shorter and shorter. But the beauty is that there are so many treatments available. I always say first, make sure it's not a medical issue that's causing thinning hair. Thyroid can always be the first trigger to cause that. So talk to your doctor, get a blood profile, kind of see what's going on inside, make sure it's not an internal cause. But then there are so many wonderful topical treatments. I mean, there's Women's Rogaine. There are all kinds of new products on the market. There are even these LED lights. The caps, you know, and so I haven't gone there yet. I can't speak from experience, but I can say there's a ton available.
Yeah.
Go to your dermatologist. There are even prescriptions that can help with that.
Perfect.
So, you know.
Okay, I think we've got time for one more, Lauren.
All right, let's go for one more. Rochelle says, what's on her bucket list? Oh, that's a great question.
That is a great question. You know, I have never traveled to the Far East, and so there are places where I would like to go. I've never been to Thailand. They're just beautiful places in this world that I haven't experienced. And when I get Lauren's extra hours in her day and she can punt them my way, maybe I can go on a trip.
Dominique, girls trip.
Thailand. I do too.
All right, you guys, head over to the Houston Life Facebook page and continue to join in our conversation. We'll share more of your questions a little bit later on. Dominique and Courtney, back to you, ladies.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. And you're sticking around.
Yes.
We'll see you in just a little bit where we're going to dive into that book and really get to the heart of what you're trying to communicate here. That's great.
Thanks
Lovely
for having
to see
me.
you.
Oh my gosh, I just love being with you all. And can I just say, all the people behind the scenes and everybody, it's a reunion. It's so
great.
special to be here, so thanks.
You've lifted everybody up today. Glad you're here.
Thanks.
We'll chat more in just a bit.
Yes, ma'am.
When we come back, how you can help Goodwill give back to the community, more on their mission to provide free job training and placement programs. And a little bit later on in the show, the Harlem Globetrotters are in town and showing us a few tricks. Ooh, can you get it done? Can you get it done? That and so much more when Houston Life returns.